Greetings, everyone. We welcome you to the Creative Society TV and our regular international discussions.
Sandstorm in Spain and the USA, storm in Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, and Uruguay, hurricane in Ecuador. All these cataclysms happened just within last week. The information sounds for us just statistics, but behind every such event, there are lives of people, destruction of their homes and their lives. More and more people lose their loved ones, and those who survived are left without anything, and even no understanding what to do and how to live.
Today, only a blind man can see the climate change. Climate is our common enemy, and now we as humanity have nothing to counteract. On May 7, 2022, the Global International Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live will take place. This is a strategically important step for all humanity. You have never heard so much truth in one place, and most importantly, the truth will be voiced by people from all over the world with simultaneous translation into 100 languages. The whole world will gather to present facts and truth about what is happening with our planet. And most importantly, you will hear solutions.
Here are some of topics which will be presented. Modern collaborationism. Who is playing on the side of the common enemy of humanity? The real cause of global climate change. Who and why is hiding the truth from the people? Climatic disasters through the eyes of eyewitnesses. Refugees. Why does it affect everyone? Escalating social violence, slavery, and human trafficking. And more importantly, we will cover how by building the creative society, we can solve all the above-mentioned issues. If you want to be an informational partner, you can write to info@creativesociety.com.
And today, we're glad to welcome you to the international discussion dedicated to the previous significant event, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth. If you still don't know the true cause of climate change, don't hesitate to watch this conference. It was made by people for people, because only when we know the truth, we know how to act. And if you have already watched the conference, be a speaker of truth. Today, you can be a hero and share this vital information with all people.
Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce our guest for today. And it is dear Tukamushaba Prime, and she's a graduate of business administration from Uganda. Then it is Mbuh Ernest Tanet, and he's a student and climate change activist from Cameroon. And also Serge Makolo, he's a skating athlete from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And dear guests, how important it is that the conference and topics which were raised for all people. And could you please briefly share your understanding of this conference? And we would like to start with dear Ernest.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much for giving me the floor to talk on this very interesting aspect which concerns us all. I'll start by saying that I'm a climate change activist, but today I'll be talking on escalating social conflict and terrorism. But to start, I would like to say that I like this initiative because when we talk about talking on global issues, time for the truth, creative society, it brings in mind, it's more like a religious struggle because it brings us together, making us to know that it's important for us to come together to handle global issues. So, because I believe that most of the problems we face today are caused by the disparities, the fact that people think, I don't know, maybe because of our ego, because of our personal desires, but given the fact that we are all we live in the same universe, it's good for us to come together to handle global issues. So I like this. I like the idea and the initiative of global society, of Time for the Truth. And what I want to say is that I will be talking today on terrorism and escalating social conflicts, rather on climate change, because I happen to be in a conflict-affected region and are mostly faced by problems of terrorism, migration and stuff like food insecurity stuff. So I mostly have information, good information on that aspect. So I just want to say I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful project, this wonderful dream, and it's a pleasure to be amongst you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Ernest. Thank you for sharing your point. And I would like to ask you, dear Tukamushaba Prime, could you please share your understanding of the importance of this conference and topics which were raised?
Thank you so much. I'm also glad to be part of this conference, and I'm glad to share with the creative society about humanity and mostly about human life. To me, every life matters, and I chose a topic about refugees simply because I feel my heart sinks in fear and in sorrow when I see people running away from their homes, leaving their loved ones. When I see people losing lives, I feel like I should be part of a community that will stand out and say this should stop and people should live a life that is free and that is free from any danger and from any scare. I'm glad to be here once again.
Thank you so much for your for sharing how you felt about it. And also the next question goes to dear Serge. And the same question for you. How important are the conferences and the topics which were raised for all people? Could you please share your understanding with us?
Oui. Personnellement, quand j'ai été contacté par
yes, indeed. When I have been contacted,
dans une situation qui était
I was in a situation a little bit
mauvaise parce que je venais
bad
de perdre ma maison et
because
tout.
I just lost my house.
Je me suis senti affamé
But
avec la société créatrice.
I felt like connected with the creative society because this is the only place where we can talk about what we feel, about what we are just experiencing, and what's going to happen around us, what's happening in different areas and in the world altogether. It's a very good initiative, and that's why it's giving me the courage to contribute also, in order to one day we can find that we can reach the end of and build that one day we will be able to have a great change, a strong change, and that will be interesting and compelling for everybody. I really enjoyed this conference because I've been part of it. It was very, very good. Because there was a lot of different subjects that was interesting. And those topics were touching directly my own person, where I've grew up. There is always war, and then after there was the volcano, and that's the second time that actually the volcano arose in my life. Il y a eu aussi des guerres. There was also war. So I grew up in a zone when there is war. And some other people said it's a red zone. And when I saw the creative society, I saw a solution how to get away from all of those problems. I was very directly interested. And the peace, it's something that everybody wants. And we really need to live in a society who has peace, equality for everybody. That was what I felt about this conference.
Thank you so much, dear Serge, for sharing your understanding. And it's really so important that this information reaches every person, and we all know that we have the way out. And you, as you said, you were the eyewitness of volcano eruption. Could you please share a little more from your experience, and what is your understanding of the seriousness of climate change for every person?
C'était pas vraiment facile. C'était comme dans
It was not very easy. You don't really understand what's going on. You don't know if you're dreaming or if it's actually reality. It was not very easy to understand. You wonder, why me? Why my house? My goods? Why it's only me that this bad luck happened? It was really not happy. And it was not easy for people to understand what's happening into my life. And also, this eruption was actually an enemy to the community around, not just for me. And we don't really know how to protect ourselves from it. It's coming by surprise, and it was very difficult.
Thank you so much, Serge, for sharing with us. I am pretty sure that this is not easy for anyone to experience such things, and we are definitely many times not even prepared. And also in the conference was raised a very serious topic, which is getting worse day by day due to climatic disasters. And this is a harsh reality in life in the absurdity of consumer format, which concerns everyone. And now let's watch a video about it.
In this video, we had to change some words and expressions using milder terms. But we hope that the severity of the problems looming over our society will still be evident. In the 21st century, human civilization boasts about its high level of intellectual development and incredible technological achievements. At the same time, at least half the world's population do not receive the health service they need. 8 million deaths occur every year as a result of poor quality of medical care. Healthcare costs are so high that they drive about 100 million people into extreme poverty each year. Living below the poverty line leads to an increase in child labor. Nearly 1 child out of every 10 is forced to work. Often, this work involves hazardous machinery and poisonous fumes. The list of products produced by child slave labor includes gold and precious stones, coffee, cocoa, rice, baby products, and clothing. According to UN statistics alone, more than 40 million people are victims of modern slavery. Forced labor, child labor, forced marriage, debt bondage, human trafficking for illegal exploitation, and recruitment of children for armed conflict. In the consumeristic format of society, people have already surpassed wild animals in terms of cruelty. More and more often, children are used as live bombs. In Nigeria, criminals put an explosive on a girl with a baby in her arms. After years of warfare, the economic crisis and drought have caused famine in Afghanistan. There is a well-known case where a mother was forced to sell her little daughter for 400 euros to feed her other children. Today, more than 41 million people are one step to death from starvation, and about 811 million people are starving. Meanwhile, every year, more than 1 billion tons of food are thrown away, and unsold goods, including those produced by means of slave labor, are destroyed. The absurdity of consumer society is that a human himself has become a commodity. Annual income from human trafficking worldwide is $150 billion, which is the largest source of illicit profit in the world. There are 534 human trafficking flows registered in 148 countries. The number of detected child victims has tripled over the last 15 years. Victims of traffickers are mainly migrants and jobless people, as they are the most vulnerable. International treaties proclaim goals of ending poverty and slavery. But in the context of a mass consumption economy, the whole system is designed to protect private capital. In the consumerist format of society, money is more valuable than human life. Worldwide, more than 2 million children a year become victims of trafficking for all kinds of exploitation. In Mexico, 25% of all women who are victims of trafficking are girls under 18.
Please help. My husband threatens me. He beats me. He forces me to have sex with his friends who come here so he can make money. They started beating me, pouring alcohol on me, making me drink, pointing a gun at me, saying they would kill me and no one would ask about me, no one would know where I was. And they opened the window and said, "Jump or we will shoot you in the head."
And did you jump?
Yes.
From which floor?
I think it was the 5th floor.
In the consumerist format of society, people are ready to kill each other to satisfy ambitions for fun and profit. Illicit trafficking of human organs worldwide is estimated at $600 million a year. According to WHO statistics, 10,000 human organs are illegally transplanted every year. In Nigeria, special baby factories are set up on a massive scale where children are bred like a livestock. Teenage girls are forcibly impregnated and coerced to bear their life commodity for sale.
But most of them are pregnant teenagers. They were held captive for one purpose, to force them to give birth. The kidnappers were making money on selling the babies. I got a call at 6 a.m. this morning saying that there were kidnappers at the school, that all our children had been kidnapped, including my daughter. We rushed there. It was confirmed that they had all been captured.
Are we human civilization if human life has no value on this planet? To change this, we all need to stop supporting the consumeristic format of society and unite in a common goal: to build the creative society.
This video is really hard to watch, but only when we know what is the real meaning of consumer format, we can really change it together. And now I would like to pass the floor to you, dear Tukamushaba. Could you please share your understanding about life of refugees and what's going on in our consumer world?
Thank you. But about refugees, I realize people are so much displaced. Like we are so much lost with when you find yourself in a place that is not your home, like you've moved to another area with new people, with new environment. So there is that depression you feel, and you feel like the world has deserted you. And mostly refugees with young children, we have lost potentials due to refugees. There are young kids who are capable of becoming great potentials, great leaders, people who could come out and speak for the nation and speak for those who cannot speak, but because they are being displaced to areas they cannot handle, to areas they cannot cope up with, we've just lost them and we have no one to speak on some other people's behalf. So my call would be to everyone here that we can come out and say that every life matters, and we can, maybe to those who are able, they can help talk to the leaders about stopping the causes of refugees, maybe wars, maybe unemployment, maybe climate changes. And we can be the reason the world changes into a better place to live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, and do you still expect that politicians or some organizations will save you? I mean, we saw it in the video clearly what is happening around the world, and let's open our eyes and see what is really happening in a modern consumer society. Because we hear every day that this is economically not beneficial. That is not beneficial, but while someone is running after economical benefit, people are actually left with nothing. And only in creative society, thanks to technologies which we already will have, or we already have actually 3D printing. We can help build houses within a few days. We can produce food on a small area of land and get water from the air, which we already have machine for that even now, and ensure that every person is protected and has everything necessary for living. And you may ask why we cannot use these technologies right now. And from every corner, we can actually hear that it is not economically beneficial. But the question is, economically, it is not beneficial for whom? It isn't beneficial for us people to save our own lives. I mean, to be sure that our children will have food and water in any situation. I think that is really ridiculousness of this format that we live in. And we could actually saw that in the video, which, as Anya was saying, it is heartbreaking. And now my next question will go to dear Ernest. And Ernest, you also have some experience with the problems of refugees. And could you please share your understanding and view on the problems that refugees actually face in this consumer format? Thank you.
Thank you very much once more. First of all, I will say the problem in my country is very complicated because it's amongst us. It's a civil war that we're facing in the country, which has led to refugee crisis. We have both internally displaced people who have gone to other regions, and we also have refugees who have gone to other neighboring countries. And it's all about an issue of political willingness, because the government does not want to listen to the people. Some people want decentralization, others want federalism. So it's all centered around the government. So because, as for me, I believe that all our problems we face today come from our leaders. Like most of the problems, our leaders can solve them, but they don't want to solve them because they want to hold power. Because when we look at the history of mankind from the 19th to the 18th century right up to now, we've seen that. When we look at the works of Tesla, stuff like that, our leaders have always wanted to withhold power, things which can be beneficial to us. Because when we look at the issue of energy, maybe there are some forms of energy which are beneficial, such as solar energy, but our leaders prefer us to use the other forms of energy so that they can control us, because the sun, no one can own the sun. So, but I'm very happy with the coming of technology because things are changing. Because when we start looking at issues like Bitcoin, stuff like that, we see that decentralization, things are coming down to the hands of individuals, and it can change. Because when I'm looking at the issue in my country, just an issue of political willingness, the government just has to listen to the people and give what they want, but they don't want to. Today we have more than 500,000 internally displaced persons, and we have more than 40,000 people who are living in neighboring countries. And we have families scattered. I have friends whom I've lost contact with them today. I don't know where they are. I don't even know if they are alive or not. So it's very funny because it's just an issue of political willingness. The government just has to listen to us. So sometimes it's really a pity because we find ourselves in an elite controlled world where a few people are making most of the decisions. So I believe that for the creative society to attain its goals and to, like them say, because I know it's something which will take time, we cannot say in the nearest future. We have to look into the format, the way our societies are organized, because when we look at the organization of most of our societies in this elite form where a few people decide for the majority, change cannot easily come. We need to create societies where everybody partakes. We are all leaders. Everybody can contribute to building their societies where the voice of everyone counts. Because without that, I'm not sure we can achieve change anytime soon. Thank you. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you so much. And it's really true that if we want to make the global change and really to change the format of our society, we need to do it all together. We can't wait for someone to do it, but to unite together in this one goal. And now let's talk about the way out from the crisis which we face. We understand that, as you said, the only solution is to change the format from the consumer-oriented to the creative one. And as was mentioned today, that often we hear the statement that something is not economically beneficial, but obviously it's beneficial for us to save our lives, to save lives of our children. And we can build new economic models, we can create new laws and regulations, but it makes sense only when all these tools are working, as well as all the technologies and scientific discoveries are working to save our lives and to ensure good living conditions for every person. And creative society, it's that tool, it's that format which allows us to overcome all the cataclysms. So here coming the only question to every person who is watching us and every person on our planet: do we want to act now? Do we want not only to survive but to thrive, or will we wait until climate destroys everything? So let's watch a short video.
And actually, watching this video, it reminded me that I also, like a long time ago, was dreaming that, how my retirement is going to look like. And I was imagining that I will buy a house somewhere and live happily. And this reminded me, this video, that probably we are all facing that older person counting pennies on the table. And even that might be a pretty good deal, the way the world is going and the cataclysms are, just uprising. And that's the reason I like this video, the end of this video, because creative society is really our best investment, and not the best investment just for us, but mainly the best investment for our kids and for our future. And now we would like to ask all of our speakers how, in the shortest way, we can bring this information to every person, understanding that we need to unite and we need to build the creative society in the shortest period of time if we want to live, because every day costs the lives of many people. And is there any advice or message to people? And let's start with you, Ernest.
Thank you again once more for giving me the floor. I would like by saying that when we look at the world today, we see that man has detached himself away from nature. I don't know if it's because of technological advancements, but we are too detached away from nature. We've forgotten our goal in life, because some people just think that life is all about survival, no matter what it takes. Maybe like you must rape from someone, or you must oppress people to make it. But I believe that if we come together and work together and fight, the world will be a better place. We can take the example of the animal kingdom. We can look at a group of lions. When they go out to hunt, even the weak ones and the strong ones, when they catch their prey, everybody has an equal share to it. So I believe that our challenges or our fight in this world should not be against ourselves, but we should look at issues like global change, food insecurity, like the enemy or like the prey. So we should come together and try to solve it. So I believe if creative society wants to attain its objectives, we need to start by sharing the message. Because someone like me, I have a series of pages on where I usually share information like this. Before joining the creative society, I always like to advise people about the importance of coming together, loving each other, putting aside our ego, making people to understand that the world can be a better place if we try to love each other and to work together, and that the enemy is not one another, it's not ourselves. The enemy is maybe our global challenge, because there are so many challenges which we face today, which come like something like climate change. It's something that affects everybody. It's true that climate change is greatly caused by human making, but even putting that aside, we still have natural calamities which come. We have droughts, tornadoes, stuff like that, which affect all of us. So if we're living in a society where all of us, we're working together, putting aside our ego, our personal desires, the world will have been a better place. So I think people need to know that we should come together, put aside our religious beliefs, our political beliefs, our race, and come together and work together as one. Because the only thing that separates us is maybe our color, our languages, but we are all part of the human race. So I believe that we need to come together, and we can start by talking to each other, bringing people to know about the creative society. Because when you go online and reading about creative society, you learn a lot. So we can start by sharing the news, or creating our own personal platform. Those of us who are part of creative society, by talking to people, because the message needs to go very far. And given the fact that we're living in a world where we do not have equal chances to talk, because my voice cannot be heard like the voice of my president, who are the decision makers. So we can start by creating awareness. Let as many people as possible know that the world needs to come together to solve global crisis or global challenges. Starting from there, when just like, I don't know, I like associating to religion or Christianity like the gospel, because I happen to be a believer. So the message can go from there, from one person, and the change will come from, I don't know how it can come, but I believe that if we start just from creative society, the change can come. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really true that, in fact, we all want the same. And the real power is in the unity of people when we're united with one goal. And thank you so much for highlighting about the value and importance of communication when we tell this information to every person. So thank you so much. And I would like to ask the question to dear Tukamushaba. Could you please share your understanding? How can we bring information about creative society to every person as soon as possible, and together to unite to make this change?
Thank you so much. Like Ernest has said, communication will be most important in this call. And I think for now we can do it by we will start with ourselves, and we shall start with the people around us, and we shall share the news about the creative society and how we are trying to change the world. And from ourselves we shall maybe how do we communicate to those we are different. There are people like I can manage to speak to a lower leader, and someone else can manage to speak to a higher leader. So to some of us who can speak to leaders who can be a bigger voice to a wide range of people, then they can speak to them. And those who can speak to a few people, they can do it, and slowly by slowly we shall make it.
Thank you so much, dear Tukamushaba. Yes, you're right. We need to start sharing this information with each other, and the communication is a key. And like you said, someone can just talk to their neighbors, or like you call like leaders, and someone can talk to leaders, and someone can talk to anyone on the street. I know people who are like talking to strangers on the street and sharing the information. How you nicely said, we are trying to change the world. We are trying to change the world for the better. That's what the creative society does. We are trying to make the better world and better future. So yes, this is the very important communication and sharing this information with each other. And that way we can build a creative society very fast. And also the similar question goes to Serge. And what would be your advice and message to people? How can we build a creative society in the shortest way possible? What is your opinion?
Okay, merci beaucoup pour
Thank you
la question.
for the question.
Je pense aussi,
I think also,
la dame vient de parler,
like the lady just
la
said,
communication, surtout
it's the communication that is very
nous
important.
devons aussi prendre conscience
We need to understand also and wake up on how can we share the information about the danger that is in front of us. And it should start with us. As soon as we will understand the danger and how we can react, we will be able to react as fast as we can with other people. Because the danger is there. We need to fight this danger, and we need to make sure that the communication goes to people as fast as possible. So the communication is a very good thing for the success. We also need to have the ways of how to explain it. It's very important. And it's really going to help this communication and the way to properly communicate.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And as we all talk today, that communication is most important, because when we are communicating, when we are picking up the topic of the creative society, topic of the change which we can do and leave everyone as a human, we as people together, we create demand. And then our politicians and those who have possibility to make this change in place, they will do it, because we as people, we create the global demand for the change. And this can be implemented in the further institutions and so on. That's why, yes, communication is very important, because in that way we are giving understanding in which world we really want to live, and that we are taking our part and our responsibility to make this world together. Thank you so much. Dear Ernst, you would like to add something?
Yeah, I also think we have to also bring the information to those whose voices are largely heard, like celebrities, artists. Like in my area, people mostly listen to celebrities talk. I don't know, sport icons, music icons, because those are those who can take the message far. Because I believe this dream can be realized if as many people as possible know about it and know the importance of it before we can start. So if the message can be brought to celebrities, people whose voices are largely heard, I believe the news can go faster than possible, because we can start amongst us, but are the audience will not be as large as if we bring into the creative society many celebrities, I don't know, in any domain. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ernst, for sharing that. And you know, maybe you watched on the previous conference that we made a huge social experiment. And for the conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, participants from all over the world were inviting celebrities, were inviting representatives of movie industry, artists, and it was a huge number of letters and messages. But what we faced, that they did not come for the conference, because this actual experiment, it gave us understanding that really we cannot wait for someone to do the change. It's in our hand, and it's our only way to create this demand is to unite with the one goal, with goal to build the creative society. Because in consumer format, again, one person cannot make the change, because that person is in the, so to say, consumer system and has to follow the rules of it. So that's very important that people unite with this one goal.
Thank you so much. And also we would recommend Serge, for instance, for you, but also our viewers to watch a documentary movie, which were made by volunteers of Creative Society. And the name of the movie is Heroes Behind the Scene, which is actually documenting the whole process, how people were preparing for the conference, how they were sending invitations, thousands and thousands of invitations to all the celebrities and leaders of the world, and all the religious leaders as well. Pretty much everyone was invited, and it was showing people like working so hard all day, all at night as well, to prepare this conference. And this movie is actually one of my favorites, because it's showing that if we are united, we are capable of doing very great things. And dear viewers, dear guests, thank you so much for being with us today. And actually, you are the real heroes, because you are the one who speaks right now, and you show examples. You show examples to the world. You show examples to other people, to our viewers who are watching us. And this way they know they can change something, and they can actually join us. And we would also like to inform you that now the preparation for a huge strategically important event is going on, the Global Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live. And we would like to invite you as well for it.
Yes, thank you everyone so much for being with us today and sharing your opinion. And I would like to say that in the preparation for the forum, we're taking a huge number of interviews with people who faced climate change and faced climate disasters. They lost their friends and relatives, their homes. And you know, the main thing which they were saying, that first came to help people, ordinary people, not organizations, not governments, not some structures, but ordinary people came first to help each other. And that shows that we are ready to unite and that we really know the value of life. But we need to unite before the disaster reaches our homes and destroys our planet, because it costs our lives and lives of people we love. So it's important today not to be silent, as we people, and together we can do everything. And today, you, my dear viewer, and we, our guests, you can come into the lines of heroes, share the truth, become a speaker of the truth, bring this life-saving information to every person, and also you can become an informational partner for the forum. Your actions can save millions of people. And see you at the next international discussion.